Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Mills, and I'm a family nurse practitioner at Baylor Scott & White in Roy City. I am honored to speak before you tonight and share with you my personal experience of my woes and success. I would like to thank the NAACP and the Excel program for allowing me to speak, and also a special thanks to Dr. Miller. As she mentioned before, I'm a former student of the Garland Independent School District. I attended Spring Creek Elementary, Webb Middle School, and Naaman Forest was where I graduated. Growing up, I always had a vision of what I wanted to become. And I knew the means of how to achieve that vision, but there were some challenges along the way. I was not that student that most people would probably think of, straight A student, stellar, graduating with honors. I was just average. Made A's and B's, but I also had some struggles and adversities along the way. Many of you take the STAR test, where I took the TOS test. And for me, that was my challenge. That was the vice in my life. I took the test, and senior year was told I may not graduate because I had to pass the TOS. Your STAR, my TOS. But I passed, and so that was the next level to my journey. But along the way, adversities. School was not always easy. I had to work a little bit harder than my peers, and sometimes that became a challenge. I'm sure many of you students can relate to having challenges, whether it be math or reading or science, where you just don't want to do it because it's hard, because it's difficult, and it makes education to you not fun. But my challenge to each and every one of you is to change the perspective and your thought process of it being difficult or hard or challenging, and make things that are challenging for you, the things that are difficult for you, work harder at. That's something I had to teach myself in college, that I had to work harder at the things that I really wanted. So for me, math was one of those areas that was a challenge. Growing up your age, if I could run from a word problem, I would. But it doesn't get you very far, because math you have to have for the rest of your life. That's something that you have to carry with you, whether it's being when you become a parent or an adult, balancing a checkbook, you have to know math. So I challenge each and every one of you, as you go day to day, is finding that thing that is difficult that you don't like, and work hard at it. Make that the area that you put more emphasis into. And even though you may not be perfect at it, you'll be better at it. Thomas Edison said, "Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always trying and trying again, and not giving up on the things that challenge you." Malcolm X speaks about education as the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for it today. So if I prepare myself for the future, I can be anything. I can be great. My journey was, again, like many of yours. I struggled. I was an ABC student, and I was okay with it. But when I went off to college, it became a little bit more challenging. I didn't know how to study. My first year in college, I wasn't successful because I didn't know how to study. I had an anatomy and physiology teacher that saw more in me than I actually saw in myself. She encouraged me and said she wouldn't give me a chance to mess up, but she wasn't giving me anything either. She was going to make me work for it. So, with that being said, I ended up going home my first year of college from Prairie View A&M. Not where I wanted to be, feeling as though I had failed myself. My friends, they were all getting their 4-year degrees, but I had to start over. What does starting over look like? I didn't know how to study. I didn't know how to prepare myself to be successful. So I had to teach myself. I taught myself to study. I taught myself to do the things that I didn't like to do. At TW, when I attended Texas Women's University, I found myself sitting in the library and forcing myself to sit and apply myself and read out loud so that I could comprehend what I was reading to understand to study for a test. Many of you probably have those same challenges and difficulties when it comes to, am I good enough? Can I be successful? Can I achieve the unachievable? Because somewhere along the way we've told ourselves that we can't and that it's not possible. But you can be anything that you want to be. The sky is the limit. There were many times when you look at my grades from grade school, who would have thought? Me, a nurse practitioner. But when you look at my grades from college, I went from average to honors, to making the dean's list, to being successful and being able to mentor to others, to encourage others, to people looking up to me and wanting my opinion. I want each and every one of you students to think about what are your challenges, what prevents you from being the best that you can be. I want each of you to look at today and the awards that you get and frame it. Remember the test that you achieved that reminded you of how great you really are, and hone in on that and keep that with you and allow that to be the reminder that you can be successful and you can be whatever you want to be. For me, coming back from Prairie View, it was looking back at a third grade TAS test. For whatever reason, I always thought, I just can't do it. But I had achieved academic excellence on that test. So that opened my eyes that I'm greater than I ever thought I was. And some of it was just having the self-confidence and speaking positivity in my own life. So I encourage you guys to just, in your head, think about what do you want to be when you grow up? And even though right now, and it may change in a few years, but right now, just think, what can I do? Whether it be a doctor, nurse, teacher, lawyer, basketball player. It may not even seem possible looking at where you are right now. And even from your parents' point of view, I just don't know what that child's gonna do. I don't know, but I'm just gonna pray for him. And that's what I encourage you to do. Don't ever accept no for an answer when it comes to your academics. Because someone tells you that you can't or it doesn't seem possible, always know that you can. Speak to yourself, speak into yourself that I'm smart, I'm capable, I'm just as good as, if not better, than the next person. It's okay to be the last person taking a test. You don't have to be the first one to finish. We often get caught up in that and forget that the first one doesn't always mean that you have passed or succeeded. Parents, I encourage you to encourage your children. Speak positivity in their lives. Push them when you know that they can do better. If they struggle in areas and you don't feel like you are capable of or able to help them in the way that they need it, provide them with the necessary resources, whether it be through their teachers, church members, tutors. I remember my mother and father, they would encourage me, but sometimes that could seem like a hindrance because they're doing one way, but you're pushing another. And just having someone to be an advocate for you when you can't do it for them is always beneficial. You are all amazing, smart, and intelligent children, and can achieve the impossible. An average student can be the president. They can be doctors, lawyers, attorneys. They can achieve the impossible. And each and one of you have a great gift. Hone in on the gift that God has given each and every one of you, and you will succeed. Thank you.